Hello and welcome to Project Virtual Conference 2015. My name is João Neto and I am here to talk about integrated project planning as a way of improving the organization efficiency and visibility. First of all, I'd like to thank our sponsors without whom would not be possible to have this great event. Also, I'd like to congratulate the organizers of this fabulous initiative, which will contribute a lot for the recognition of the project management activity, to the knowledge share and to the public awareness. My name is João Neto and I've been deploying PPM solutions for the past 11 years. Currently, I'm a senior solution consultant for Program Framework. In the past 11 years, I've been acting as a senior solution consultant, an architect, or a developer in projects involving Project Server, Microsoft Project Professional, Project Online, Office 365, SharePoint, and I've been deploying solutions for the defense industry, for the government, namely the Portuguese government and the United Kingdom government, for oil and gas industry, for energy industry, and so on. Program Framework is a Microsoft Gold partner for PPM, and this is a very special year for us this year because it's our 10th anniversary. The other news is that we've been recently awarded the EMEA Project Partner Award for Best New Cloud Customer by Microsoft. So we are very proud of this prize, and I'd like for you to know that we are here to for any queries that you have regarding PPM. We are behind some of the largest and more complex PPM deployments in the United Kingdom, and we've been developing solutions for oil and gas, for healthcare, for local governments, for the governments, and lots of other customers for the United Kingdom Defense and lots of other customers. So we have a vast experience and knowledge in terms of deploying project and portfolio management solutions, specifically using Project Server, using Office 365, and using cloud services. So, what's this about integrated project planning? So, the idea is to bring together information that is spread across different locations on the organization. So, this all started back when some customers started to ask us to integrate different information into the project plans. So some customers asked to integrate financial information, namely company budget, namely department budget, expenditure of the current fiscal year, things like invoices, customer invoices, supplier invoices. Other customers asked us to integrate things like requirements into the project plan. Others asked us to integrate things like timesheeting into other external systems, and so on. The basic idea is that Project Server is neither an HR system and neither a financial system. So from my past experience, every time that we've tried to make Project Server do very complex stuff from a business point of view, we not always reach a perfect solution. This means that Project Server should be kept for what Project Server is good at. This means managing tasks, managing projects, managing portfolios. So Project Server is terrific doing this. However, we can use Project Server structures to hold additional information until some level. So talking about personal experience, after implementing this sort of integration using Project Professional, using Project Server, we were capable of largely increase company's efficiency because information started to be available in the right place to the right person, not only contributing to a single source of the truth, but also contributing for every process to become more efficient. It is very common, especially on smaller organizations, that a single person needs to do different roles inside the organization. This means, for instance, that a project manager may be a project manager but also an account manager. He may be doing project management activities but also be part of the delivery. So If we make information available to the project manager in the place where he manages the projects, the project management tool, specifically project professional or other project management tool equivalent, this means he will be capable to give quick answers either to external customers, where he's being acting as an account manager, or to the internal customer if the internal customer queries him about business requirements, for instance, when a business requirement is going to be delivered, etc. From our experience, this means that companies became more aware of the overall scenario. The project manager becomes more aware of the impact of his project in terms of financial impact, budget impact, requirements impact, and so on. These days, companies have a whole set of databases storing different information in different places. So we are very good creating places to store our information, and we try, each one of us, to create the best solution to store our own information. So it is very common to find inside organizations a financial system like Dynamics GP, like Navision, or other. It's very common to find requirements management inside a solution like Team Foundation Server, for instance, or an Excel file to manage business requirements in level 0, level 1, mapping those against technical requirements or deliverables, and so on. It's very common to find project management tools managing the work part of the delivery, and having portfolio management tools managing the business drivers and the strategy and the selection of portfolios, and so on. So if we take a closer look of what's happening, so project manager, specifically in SMEs, is assuming all of these hats and try to look at different activities at the same time while replying to the external customer, while replying to the internal customer, and so on. So you may be looking at a solution like Project Server or Project Online or simply Project Professional to hold all the tasks, all the durations, all the start dates, finish dates, all the assignments, and so on. The finance manager would be looking typically at Excel spreadsheets or at software like Navision, controlling cash flow, controlling expenditure, controlling the approval of expenses, etc. This is a really nice fact. So we have here two very important people inside the organization that are controlling different aspects of the information, but they are not looking at the same information at a time. So this means that the information that reaches project manager may be a little out of date, and vice versa. The information that reaches the finance manager regarding project execution may be a little out of date. So unless we create a single source of the truth, a single point of control, this means that this information will never be in sync. And this can cause quite some troubles inside the corporation. But we'll check this one later on. The C-level executive these days is looking to solutions that manage, that allows him to map the strategy. Things like the portfolio area of Project Server, of the Project Online, which allows to map drivers against the project and allows to calculate prioritization into the projects towards those drivers, and allows the selection of projects based on a number of criteria. If you think a little bit that a company, let's think about a service company who develops SharePoint solutions to sell to the market. This company, which purpose is to create SharePoint solutions, SharePoint apps, let's assume, has inside its doors the capability to develop other stuff. For instance, if a company has a SharePoint app capability, it needs designers, it will need developers, it will need copywriters, and so on. Is the same sort of capabilities that you would find inside a company who develop websites. So the same company could have two types of deliveries, could have a SharePoint app delivery and a website delivery, but only the first one will be recognized as strategic to the business, as core to the business, because if the company wants to be seen on the market as expert developing SharePoint app solutions, it is better for the company to not spread the word about the website capability development. However, SharePoint apps, and this is just a sample, is not correlated with real world, may have a long time to develop. So this means that the revenue associated with that project may take too long to be received. The website, and again this is just a sample, may have shorter periods of return. So this means that we may build the customer quickly in terms of smaller deliveries against the website. So on one hand, we have the SharePoint app who is core and that is strategic to our business, but has a long period for revenue. And on the other hand, we have a website which is not so strategic, but is from a tactical point of view is very interesting for us because allows to compensate the time that we need to invest into our SharePoint app solutions. So from a portfolio selection, it is very difficult to, using the current tools, to distinguish between a solution that is strategic and delivers a type of cash flow and a solution that is not strategic and delivers another type of cash flow that could be better than the first one. So one of the things that we propose with this approach is to allow people to better understand this concept. So not only the strategic part, but also the tacticals around the financials, so that better decisions may be made. The last person I'd like to describe this as is the business analyst. Of course, is collecting business requirements from key users, is translating these business requirements into technical requirements or to deliverables. Sometimes traceability matrices are asked to this user to understand which business requirement is being delivered by which technical activity and so on. So this is a user that will benefit a lot to have another type of view in terms of his activities. So, making a short summary, we all store information in different places. Our work could be largely improved if we have a single source of the truth, and we can become more efficient and more fast in all the answers that we're doing. So, our solution understands that the organization is a set of blocks, is a set of departments, is a set of people. So our idea is to bring together in a single place the financial information, the planning information, the strategic information, and the requirements, making it to a much more consistent data store that can be used to produce more value. So the challenge here is, what if we integrate all of this information together? So the idea is that we can still have our previous data sources, so the Dynamics GP, the Navision, the portfolio analysis, the requirements gathering, and the project plans. We then integrate together into the project plan. Let's see how in a short moment. And we produce powerful information that not only empowers people, but also can automate some of the tasks. So for instance, in one of the companies I've worked in the past, all of the invoices were automatically. So since they were created directly from the project plan, whenever a project plan reached a specific point in time, so by the completion of a set of tasks, an invoice was automatically triggered to the invoicing system. So this is not the perfect solution for all the business, of course. We can implement a way for the project manager to give a final authorization in terms of the issue of an invoice. However, for some companies, this could largely reduce the administrative time and burden on managing multiple invoices to multiple customers to multiple projects running on the same time. This solution that I'm going to present can be implemented by simply using Project Professional or an equivalent tool. However, can be largely leveraged if it is used with the use of the project server or project online. And the reason why is because with Project Server and Project Online, we can have things like the project lifecycle, which again can help us automate some tasks, triggering some alerts and so on. We can have a shared of resources, allowing us to slice and dice the information for more different dimensions, allows a better portfolio selection, because we can send to the portfolio analyzer information regarding the cash flow that today is not available and is difficult to do using Project Professional, and improve control and visibility, because we'll have all of this security in place and so on. With the advent of Office 365 and of Project Online, now this solution is quickly available even for SMEs, because we have here an SaaS project, so a software as a service model, that allows small organizations or medium organizations to have their own instance of Project Online and or Project Professional from the early hours by paying a monthly fee. So this means that if the companies adopt project management methodology and adopt this approach from the early stages of the adoption, can we see great benefits. So again, talking from the past, I was able to see some SMEs managing dozens of projects at the same time with automatically billing, with the project manager assuming different areas inside the corporation, and everything was smooth, like with the same effect would need much more people and much more control in a different scenario. So what are we going to see? Essentially, I'm going to present you two project plans I've created. So I've used the software development template, and I've created two project plans. One project plan called SharePoint App and another project plan called Website. So the SharePoint app, you will see, has a cash flow that is very interesting in the end of the project, because it's a very profitable project. Again, this is just a sample. But you will need to invest a lot during the early stages of the project. The other project I'm going to present you is a website that almost every week you can bill the customer for a specific deliverable, allowing you to have the return of your investment much quicker. After I present you these two projects, I'm going to present you a set of reports built connected directly with the project files. So this means we are seeing live information, and you'll be seeing how we can get very powerful information on a single place, synchronized with all of the projects on my organization, all of the departments, etc., allowing us to make better decisions, to become more efficient, and so on. So let's go for the demo. The first project that I'm going to show you is the SharePoint project. You will notice that first thing that you can notice is that I'm using the new report functionality of Project Professional 2013. This means that this in fact helps me a lot, because I can be planning my project and I can be seeing in real time what is the impact, the visual impact of all the changes I'm doing on the graphics on the top. So it is very common that we don't have a visual perception of the changes that we're doing by manipulating tables or by manipulating grids. So having a visual report helps a lot into the process. So the first thing that I'd like to mention is that I've created 4 summary tasks. So the first summary task called execution information, the second one called contingency, the third one called financial information, and the fourth one called requirements. Execution information has what project managers have been doing for the last year. So essentially, we have a set of work tasks. Each task is associated with one or more assignments, so with one or more resources. And I've placed some rates into the resources. So I have some costs. I've captured a first baseline of costs. So now I'm on the execution stage. And I have all here my work information regarding the project, so dependencies, duration, start dates, finish dates, works, costs, and so on. The second summary task I have is to manage risk and warranty. So as part of my process of bringing all the information together, I think it would be nice to have like a financial contingency for risk and warranty managed together with the project plan. But let's talk about this later on. The third summary task is financial information. Since we are, in this case, in this scenario, a service corporation, a service company, we have customer invoices, so the invoices that we plan to bill our customer. We have supplier invoices regarding services that we are buying outside. So as a SharePoint app, I may buy in outsourcing, for instance, design, or I may buy the copyright of content. And since I have designers, developers indoors, I may have some expenses regarding things like travel, accommodation, etc. So I'm capturing expenses as part of the project plan as well. Not all the time we are targeted to make services to customers, so to customers outside our organization. Many times projects are done for internal use. So from an internal use point of view, it's not very often to be talking about invoices, etc. It may happen, but it's not very often be talking about internal billing and this sort of things. So for having a scenario for internal projects, I've created this concept of business requirements. So when I'm doing internal project, I am very focused on understanding which business requirements are being answered by the project and by deliveries that I'm doing. Okay, so the new website has exactly the same structure. The only difference is that we have much more invoices done. So on the SharePoint app, we only have 5 invoices. Here we have 10. Since I'd like to map my invoices against the work activities, each invoice has a predecessor mapped to a work activity. So for instance, the invoice 1 kickoff is associated with a task inside scope, so determined project scope. This means that when this task is finished, you can see from the Gantt chart on the right, when this task is finished, my invoice 1 can be started. So this means that the invoice is linked against the task inside scope. This means that for some reason, if the scope takes longer, let's say 5 days instead of 1.5 days, all the tasks or the specific tasks will get delayed as well. So this means that I will have an impact every time I take longer to do my work, as well as any time that I can make my work become faster delivered. So this means that the invoices are mapped with the execution of the tasks. This is not all the time the best scenario. So sometimes we have invoices that are billed against a date, a specific date, independent if the work is delivered or not. We can achieve the same stuff by deleting the predecessor on the tasks, and this will allow to have specific start dates for the invoices that are independent of the work. Now let's take a look to an Excel file. So this is stored in Project Online, all of this information. Let's take a look into an Excel file that has a direct connection with Project Online. So we are seeing again, we are seeing real life data, right? So if we take a look to the SharePoint app, you will see, so on the top we'll have a pivot table with the value of the invoices. On the bottom we have a line with the cost of each task, all right? And this is split by month and by year. So we'll see that since we have an invoice that is billed right when the project starts, September is positive. The cash flow for October is negative. The cash flow for November is positive. For December negative, for January negative, and for February when we deliver the app is very positive. So if we sum together all of these values, we can see that we have a profit of around 127k pounds. So this is a very interesting project, not only from a strategic point of view, but also from a value point of view. All right. However, I will need to be capable of investing the 24k in October, the 38k in December, and the 27k in January. Otherwise, I will not be able to do this project. So this means that I will need to invest a lot of my own money to be able to produce this project. Okay. Let's take a look into the new website 2016 project. So this is a project that starts negative, so it will need some money in the beginning. Then October is very positive, okay? November is slightly negative, and then December, January, and February are very positive. So if you take a look to the revenue that this project is releasing, is less than the SharePoint app. However, since is built much more frequent, is more interesting from a tactical point of view, because you will be receiving money sooner regarding this project. So if I take a look to both projects together now, you will see that if I do both projects at the same time, assuming that I have all of the resources needed, this means that I can stay positive all the time. So if I'm taking a portfolio decision based purely on strategy, I would disregard website development for sure. The reason why is because it's not core of our business and is not delivering the business drivers. However, if I take into consideration cash flow that is delivered by each one of the projects, this is very interesting because allows me to compensate the needs for investment of the SharePoint app and allows me to stay positive during the entire development of the process. Something else that I'd like you to note is that since this is information that is coming from Project Online using OData services, OData feed, I can make grids with invoices ready to emit. So if I search for tasks of type invoice, I can show you in a while how can I map a task of being of type invoice. If I seek for tasks of type invoice, since each task has a start date, I can make a pivot table with all the invoices that are ready to be emitted. Remember when I was talking about the automation? So if we want for the process to be manual, we can coordinate with the project manager that when an invoice is ready to be emitted, the project manager may mark the invoice as 100% completed. This way, this information will appear to the financial guy or to the administrative person to be ready to be emitted. We can also create some KPIs regarding the due date of invoices, and we can classify additional information, for instance, like the invoice value as well as the paid value. So all of this information and much more can be created by using custom fields inside tasks or custom fields at a project level. So this allows me a very powerful tool where I am capturing not only work but also the financials. And in regard to the financials, I'm capturing the due date, I'm capturing the paid value, I'm capturing the total amount, etc., etc., etc. So the sky is the limit for the amount of information that we can grab from the system. Let's take a closer look how this is happening. So on the cost column, I'm capturing the rate of the resources time the work that they need to do. On the financial information, I've created a custom field called Customer Invoice Value, and I've placed value for each invoice. And I've created a second custom field called Customer Invoice Paid Value that I'm going to update manually for this moment automatically later on. We'll see how. Every time an invoice is paid, I will update this value. So right now I see that the first invoice was paid 35k of 100k. Okay. The way that I classify tasks was by the creation of a task type custom field, and each task will have a different type. So for instance, tasks of type work will be activities work. Tasks of type customer invoice will be customer invoices, supplier invoices, expenses, and so on. The same applies to requirements. So if you take a look at requirements are classified of type requirements, business requirements, or they may be classified as requirements, technical requirements. Using the same approach, a task, in this case a business requirement, is mapped against a deliverable by using predecessors. So if we take a look at predecessors, business requirement 1 needs the task 31, 32 and 35 to be completed. Business requirements 2 needs the task 31, 33 and 37 to be completed. Again, if we go back to our Excel, we can build a traceability matrix by these dependencies. Again, this is live data. So business requirement 1 is connected to the task 31, 32 and 37, which have the description functionality 1, functionality 2, functionality 3, functionality 4, etc. By capturing the finish dates using the OData feed, I can see that business requirement 1 is dependent on a task that ends on the 13th of November, on a task that ends on the 19th of November, and on a third task that ends on the 3rd of December. By creating a simple formula called max, I can capture the max finish date of these three. So this means that business requirement 1 will only be completed on the 3rd of December 2015. We can also create some KPIs and some calculations to understand what's the time remaining in days until I have my business requirement 1, the time remaining in days when I have my business requirement 2, and so on. We are using the calculation capabilities of the project server in a very simple way and the predecessors in a very simple way, but we are giving a different context to the tasks. By summing the total cost of the tasks which the business requirement depends on, we can calculate a total cost per requirement. So since business requirement 1 is dependent on functionality 1, functionality 2 and functionality 5, this means that the cost of functionality 1, functionality 2 and functionality 5 will be 12k. The same principle applies for business requirement 2, 3 and so on. This means that I can have a perception of how much is costing this business requirement for me and when it's going to be delivered. If we take into consideration the percentage of completeness of the tasks using the same concept of the previous pivot table, we can understand that business requirement 1 is 10% completed. Business requirement 2 is 13% completed. Since we are talking about percentage, we no longer calculate the max, but we will use a formula like average to understand, okay, in average, business requirement 2 is 13% complete. Excel is very powerful to create conditional formatting. So here I've placed some conditional formatting regarding the percentage of completeness, showing more red the values near 0 and more green the values near 100. So green is good, red is bad. So this can be quickly changed to other concepts, and you can even customize the rules to create better KPIs for yourself and for your business. A traceability matrix is also very easy to do, because you can have the business requirements on the left, you can have the tasks, and by using a KPI, by using a conditional formatting, we may be seeing that business requirement 1 is being delivered by functionality 1, 2 and 5, or on the other hand, functionality 1 is contributing for business requirement 1, business requirement 2 and business requirement 5. So what are the benefits of this approach? So first of all, you get integrated information. So you get a single source of the truth. Second of all, you are giving your users powerful information for their decision making. So this means that when a project manager is acting both as a project manager and as an account manager, you will be able, on a single call where you may be doing a project status with the customer, to give not only status against work, but also status against financials. So you may take the opportunity to let the customer know, please, Mr. Customer, please note that the due date of this invoice has been expired. Please note that this invoice was only half paid, so for us to continue our work, this needs to be paid in full. This means that the project manager can take can take advantage of very important moments, a conversation with the customer, without having to go to the administrative department to understand, or to the financial department to understand what's the current situation. He can have the information in a single place. By having the financial information, we can contribute to better portfolio decision, because we may not only take into consideration strategic factors, but also tactical factors against the financials. We may have cash flow forecasts that will allow to understand which sort of investment we need to do in order to make this project be delivered. This may be the difference between needing a credit in a bank or being able to do that with your own money. So this is a very important decision that can translate to a lot of saving in terms of money, in terms of cash, in terms of time. So we can be saving people time, and we by empowering them to making right decisions on the right moment in a fast way. The cherry on top of this is that we can automate these tasks. So by simple knowledge of macros, we can create macros that grab information from Dynamics GP, from Navision, from any other outside system, and put this information into the project plan. So whenever I open the project plan, the information is updated. Taking this into thought, Program Framework developed a framework to automate this sort of things. So if you're using Project Server or Project Online, Program Framework has a product that allows to integrate with external systems very easily by setting up data source connections, by setting up destination connections, and by setting up a simple mapping. We can be bringing invoice information from GP or from Navision, or we may be bringing customers from CRM or any other connector, Microsoft or non-Microsoft, we support it. So with this approach, we are contributing to a single source of truth, to empowerment of people, to automation of tasks. All of this will improve a lot a company efficiency. It was having this in thought that I was very keen to share this with you, and I am completely at your disposal. I'm completely at your disposition for you to contact me with your own organization needs, or with your own questions if you have. So I'm free during the day or later on. This is my email. You can see here in this slide, and I leave you the challenge. So what is the vision for your company, and do you think this approach will benefit your company? And if so, drop me an email saying so, and I'll be happy to have contributed to your organizational efficiency and visibility. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm available now for questions and answers. Thank you.